And we are live.
Hi, welcome and thank you for joining us to another episode of Movie Cast. I am your host, Dana Abercrombie, and I am once again joined by Richard Bailey Jr. How are you doing, Mr. Bailey?
Doing pretty good, Dana, and good evening to all the listeners and viewers. Looking forward to talking about some movies and TV shows.
Some movies. Some movies that we saw and some movie news that's kind of happened over the week. Um gonna just jump right in this. As everyone knows, there was a big uproar with a small independent movie kind of called Sonic the Hedgehog, but a trailer finally released. We knew this movie was coming out for quite a long time. It's by Paramount and obviously Sega. Remember, Sega put up the money for this, so they had full control, knowing what was going on. Basically, it starts off. We see Sonic. And his goal is he got to go fast. Don't know why, but he got to go fast. And he's just basically blazing through life, and people were in a complete uproar because he looked awful. It was really bad. It was just tiny blue creature with like tons and tons of teeth, and it just did not look right at all. And the internet was not feeling it. Was not feeling the fact that Sonic has been spending most of his life living in that gangster paradise. They was angry about that. And as a result of that anger and uproar from the trailer, which we also featured Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, which I think people should be more angry about than Sonic. But because people hated his design, director Jeff Fowler responded to all of the criticism. Because not even, I don't recall one person being like, that looks awesome, unless they're like, seven. But everyone was in uproar, and he responded with the message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's gonna happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. And as a result, that means we are getting new Sonic designs. How they're going to do this, I don't know. I don't know at all. But yeah, apparently they're going to redesign. I don't know how they're going to choose this. I don't know if they have to do a lot of the CG redo. I don't know if they're going to just lay over something. I don't know anything about computer science because I failed it. But what is your thoughts on this announcement?
So I will say first and foremost, very glad to hear that the public outcry is has worked. I often do not really. I'm not the biggest fan of social media, but I will say that when it works in this case, where people are obviously angry about something they want change, okay, maybe it's not a bad thing, but it is good to know that they are going to make changes to the design of the character. Um, I do think that there are still going to be other things that they are going to be unable to change. Like, for example, if the storyline and plot is horrible, and critics will complain about that, then well, they're gonna have to live with that because they're not gonna be able to change that now. At least I don't think so. I mean, the movie is pretty much done at this point. The post production work is just what they're gonna do. So probably some more CG effects to make Sonic look better. So, certain things that they will listen to the fans and improve upon with the character. So one thing I will say, and I mentioned this when we recorded the co-op, is that the movie is coming out in November. I don't know what the exact release date time is, but I do know that because it's coming out in November, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the little kids will want to go see this movie around the holiday season. So I still believe the movie is going to make a ton of money, even if it is horrible. Um, but I mean, we obviously have to wait and see how everything pans out. But I will say right now, uh, at the very least, I'm glad that the design is improved upon. I was not a fan of the trailer. I did not understand them using Gangsta's Paradise in the trailer at all. I don't understand. You know, if Coolio got paid some royalty off of that, excellent. But I don't understand how that song is in any way related to what's going on in the actual trailer.
The only thing that trailer brought attention to was the fact that "Gangster's Paradise" was a sample from a Stevie Wonder song.
Oh yes,
I never knew that at all. So that was like the only good thing about that whole entire thing. But yeah, it's from a song called "Pastime Paradise." Never knew that in my history of Stevie Wonder listening. But my thing is that I wonder and I worry a lot about this because yes, you want to please the fans, but at the same time, you're movie over to the fans. And if you have a concrete idea set in stone, you're willing to change that for the fans, which means that you can just be easily swayed by anything. So what that kind of leaves the door open for anything to like be changed. And there were times when people wanted endings changed and it was disastrous. We saw this in video games.
oh yes.
So just because you're going to change does not necessarily mean you're going to get a great movie. You may get a better looking Sonic, but that doesn't mean that you're going to sit there and enjoy that movie. It still looks like trash at the end of the day. Jim Carrey still looks like he's just being Jim Carrey and nothing different and acting weird. So, you know, I still don't know why. Gotta go fast. But, you know, gotta go fast. I don't know how they're going to implement a lot of things in it, but just not look good overall. And the design was the last thing that I had issues with. But I just wonder, this kind of makes you seem like you just open anything that you don't like and people criticize. You're going to be criticized for no matter what. Even if he looks like the exact version of the video game, people are going to complain. Remember when Sonic Boom, the cartoon, came out?
Oh yeah.
And basically, I forgot the guy's name. Not the guy. But Sonic and Knuckles basically looked like they were on steroids the entire time. It was the oddest design I've ever seen. And people complained about that. And they was like, well, screw you. This is our design. And it just kind of, you know, melted into the fabric that is the Sonic franchise. And so if you're going to do the movie version and you're upset, people are going to be upset no matter what. And I was not exactly jumping for joy when they announced, you know, we got our feelings hurt. We give in. The fans win. Let's change our design. So as you said, also, people who want to see this movie will see it irregardless of how a character looks.
Oh yeah. So, no, absolutely. And the one other point that I will make is that I do know that when they first revealed, I believe they revealed Sonic from the waist down, just the you know, the kneecaps and the boots and stuff like that. There were people already complaining about that. So I kind of feel like the creative director or whoever is behind, you know, actually designing the character, they should have been prepared to receive more backlash because of how that reaction was from the very beginning, when people were like, oh, they were worried when they saw the character, the outline of the character, the legs, that should have been like, okay, they should have been prepared for this. So now they know though. So I guess we will give them the benefit of the doubt and see what they do, what changes they make.
They even leaked the fake poster. Remember, there was one poster with Chris Pratt in like police uniform, just to get the audience attention, and people hated it then. So the backlash, I'm kind of like surprised that they're surprised about, because it was there from the beginning.
Absolutely. Well, I guess now they know better. So
now they just prove they don't have any backbone, but we shall see.
So there's one quick question that I do want to ask you.
Yes.
Before you move on, we're obviously going to talk about Detective Pikachu later.
Pika.
But I have to ask you, do you think that, based on the initial impressions of what you have seen with the Sonic trailer and based on having seen Detective Pikachu, do you think that this will be a better movie than Sonic the Hedgehog?
Okay. Yes, on multiple reasons, just for the simple fact that the plot. Oh, I'll now get into this later, but Detective Pikachu is more like a mystery movie. You know, it's a detective and he's Pikachu. So you have that mystery element of what's going on. So that alone, yes. Then for Ryan Reynolds is very charismatic, even if it's just his voice, and even if you don't know why he's voicing Pikachu, he comes across as very charismatic. And believe it or not, I'm not. It looks like it's less cartoonish. The storyline itself looks less ridiculous. When you have the sound effects that was playing during Jim Carrey doing his little trailer clip thing that they showed, it looked like a very ridiculous, slightly nonsensical movie. And that, that kind of weird comedy thing that people like or sometimes don't like. But it seemed like it was very juvenile. And here's the weird thing about Detective Pikachu is that it's strangely not. So yeah, I think that it will. Yeah, I think it's gonna probably be, Detective Pikachu is gonna probably be more successful. And on a funnier note, the guy who was like the CGI people for Detective Pikachu,
Yeah.
he hates the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. He hates the trailer. So it's
Uh-oh.
just, yeah, and they don't want to be compared at all because it just visually it doesn't even look like you can compare the two at all. You know, it looks like something that they took time to design, create. So, and it comes across as really authentic to how the characters look in the anime and the video games and everything else. But yeah, no, you can't compare the two. And I don't really fully know the story with Sonic, but no, 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 no. So yeah, no,
Well,
absolutely.
I would say that those are good points. The detective element alone is why I actually would consider going to see Detective Pikachu, because I do like mystery stories. So we'll see whether or not I actually do get to check that out next weekend. I have to think it over before I make that decision.
Yeah, honestly, it's a very solid story. So you have that going for it, and everyone is like very grounded in their acting.
That's
So
good.
I have another thing that's going for it. So yeah, I know I'm gonna just have to for right now until I need something more than just a Gangsta's Paradise trailer. For now, no, Detective Pikachu looks far superior. Is far superior.
Awesome, awesome. Look forward to it. All right.
Yeah. So moving on a little bit, it was announced by ABC that we are getting another Blackish spinoff. We already have Grownish, which is on Freeform, which is owned by ABC and owned by Disney as a result. But we're also getting on ABC Mixish, which is all about the younger Rainbows. Remember Rainbow was just called Bo, who's played by Tracy Ellis Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's going to be a younger version of her, and she re-encounters the dilemmas her family face on trying to assimilate into society. Because remember, Rainbow is biracial. Her mom is black, her dad is white. And they grew up in a commune, a very, very hippie commune. So it's about their move from the hippie commune to moving into the suburbs and how Rainbow becomes Rainbow. And her parents are basically kind of struggling with their new life. And Rainbow and her sister and her siblings are having to navigate school and, understand what's it like to be black and white.
Hmm.
And they're not, trying to navigate between those two lines. So it looks very interesting. We are going to get like a spin-off. You know how they have like that introductory kind of like pilot episode that blends in with the other show?
Yeah.
So we're going to get that. It's going to be later, like they said around in the second half. So it'll be pretty good. We're gonna get that episode soon, which will be like the pilot kickoff. But starting next year, which is like the next season, we're gonna get Mixish.
Hmm.
That
Okay.
seems really interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, I have to say I have watched Grownish multiple times, so I'm very happy to see that everybody on that show is getting more opportunities. And I'm very glad to hear that they're continuing to expand upon the show because I was concerned when I first started watching Blackish in the past. I didn't know if that show would end up staying on that network. I thought it would have eventually gotten canceled, but I'm glad that it has led to so many other opportunities for everybody on the show because it is a good show. So
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's surprising. And remember, there was that big uproar over the name Blackish. That sounds racist.
yeah,
And I remember even Trump even tweeted about it. He was like, "This is a racist show. I will not
yes,
be watching." So they're happy to have more spin-offs because that's very good.
absolutely.
And they all seem to be really good. Like I like Grownish, even though it's kind of weird watching the oldest daughter kind of like become an adult. I'm doing drugs. Go back home. But yeah, so seems really good. So move on. We have to talk about your favorite topic of all
Uh-oh.
time.
Here we go.
You're like, don't tell me. I want to be surprised. So I will tell you what is the box office charts for this weekend. What movies was number one? What movie was number 10? What
Uh-oh.
movie was number 5? Which is kind of really shocking when you still learn who the top 10 are. So I'll start from number 10 and work my way up to number 1. How's that?
Oh, that's excellent. Yes.
So starting with number 10, we have Dumbo. I'm surprised. I kind of forgot it came out, and then I thought it came out later, so I have not seen it.
I'm,
But
I'm surprised that that's still in theaters.
yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. It's been in theaters for a while now. I just really forgot, but it took in 1.4 million, and so far its domestic gross is 109 million.
Hmm.
It's doing good, little elephant. So at number 9, speaking of little, we have Little with 1.4.
Hmm. Good. That's good.
You don't know Little?
Oh no, I said that's good.
Oh, I was like, you don't know Little? All right. So starting at number 8, we have Shazam. 2.4 million. Shazam. Yeah, that's a really great movie. So was Little too.
Yeah.
Little and Shazam was great. So number 7 is your favorite movie of all time. You ready? The Curse of La La Reina. Which, I'm surprised people went to go see. I just kind of like.
I actually saw that movie.
Oh, you did?
A long time ago. That was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. I am surprised as well, but I think when people knew that it's within the Conjuring universe, that was why they said, okay, I got to see this. That's what that's all about.
Still forgettable though. I interviewed the actor and was like, "Oh, I forgot this movie existed."
yeah, absolutely.
So, at number 6, we have the good old Christian Breakthrough with 3.9 million. That's not bad for like a good, sweethearted like Christian movie.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I still haven't seen that.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah, and Christian movies are becoming very popular.
I did not know that. So
yeah,
that's news to me.
Production studios and everything. There's like a whole faith-based like network of just Christian-y movies. Which I'm confused for like another channel, which was the complete opposite of Christian movies. I kept getting emails for like this other network, but it still sounded like it was Christian based, but it wasn't Christian based. It was like erotic. I was like, oh shoot, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think it was called The Passion. So like when I'm going like The Passion, I'm thinking of like The Passion of Christ.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know,
you were thinking of.
faith. It was like, no, it's the other passion. It's like, oh snap. All right. Yeah, that was a surprise. So at number 5, I'm shocked. I guess maybe Captain Marvel, the most useless cameo
Uh-oh.
in
Well,
Endgame.
There's a reason for that. I believe that people did not get to see her enough in game, so they decided, let me go back and see Captain Marvel so I could see her throughout the movie.
They made an entire movie just so we can watch her shred apart a plane. A whole darn movie with a cat, mind you, a cat, and a two-eyed Nick Fury, just
Well,
to see her crash a plane.
that definitely was something that I was disappointed in, to know that that's how Nick Fury got got to wear that patch.
Yeah, that was stupid. And then what made me even more angry about it? Not even the fact that they don't even use her, but during the whole time she has an attitude in Endgame. She's like, I'm doing other things.
Oh yeah.
These more important things than these. I don't know you people. Go. Ew, with your terrible haircut. All right. So, number 4, we have a movie I have not seen. Ugly Dolls. Have you seen some Ugly Dolls?
I heard about this movie. I saw that trailer for the movie, and I was like, "Oh well."
It's cute, no. If you have a kid and it's about a bunch of ugly dolls and they're like, we are all beautiful. It's cute.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I can kind of understand what the message of the movie is from the trailer, but
It's cute.
nah, I don't know if I would see that. Yeah, if I had a kid, maybe I would take the kid to see it, but I know I'm gonna pass on that one.
Well, see, we gotta get you some children. We gotta find you one of them good wives in Breakthrough.
Yeah, perhaps.
Children, so you can watch Ugly Dolls. So at number 3, do you have a clue what number 3 could be?
Number 3.
Number 3. Any clue?
Yeah, I do have a.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a guess and say The Intruder.
Ooh, is it The Intruder? Well, coming in at 10 million, and it's new on this list, as was Ugly Dolls. Ugly Dolls was also new. Number 3 is Long Shot.
What? Whoa! Are you really?
Yes.
Number 3.
Number 3. I didn't even know that it was. Yeah. Number 3. I didn't know Seth Rogen had it in him. Number 3.
Well, I will say something about that, a little later, because I did go see that, but I'm a little surprised that that's not number 2, because I kind of feel like, I know when I went to go see Avengers Endgame, they were advertising this movie before, and they actually spent money on that advertisement, because Seth Rogen was like, "Oh yeah, try to be funny and saying, yeah, a lot of bad stuff happens in Endgame, so if you want to feel better, just get tickets to go see Long Shot." That obviously didn't work that much, because it's number 3. I expected that to be number 2, but now I know what number 2 is.
Expected to be number 5. Shoot, it did better than my expectations. So who do you think is number 2?
Oh, so number 2 has to be The Intruder.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, it has to be.
All right. With number 2 spot, brand new on the list, grossing $11 million, which is really great considering. We have The Intruder. So you was right.
But that's wait, only 11 million though.
It's understandably why it's only 11 million.
Oh yeah, no, I know it's considered an independent film. I mean, that's very close to Long Shot, because you said Long Shot was like 10 million, right? It's only off by $1 million, so that's pretty interesting that it's that close between those two movies.
Now this explains why it's only 11 million, but 11 million is pretty darn good. 10 million is pretty darn good for what was
Absolutely.
accomplished. Are you ready for number one? Do you think you know what number one is?
Oh yeah, I think everybody knows what number one is.
Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, they wish they could be number one. I think they were number one time, but not anymore.
Pet Cemetery starting the cast of Avengers Endgame. Now, here is the difference between the number one spot and the number two spot. And while you will understand, Intruder and Longshot and even Ugly Dolls did a darn good job. Okay? Remember, Intruder, 11 million. Longshot, 10 million. Ugly Dolls, 8.5 million. Ready for Avengers?
Yeah.
$145 million. 4,000. You got that?
Wow.
So you see the difference. We're talking about 134 million difference.
That is absolutely insane. And yeah, now yeah, I do understand what you're saying, because I'm happy that they were able to get the 11 million. I mean, well, let me just say this first and foremost. I'm definitely happy about Intruder. You know, despite the criticisms we had in that video review, I want that director to get more opportunities. So that's great for him. But yeah, I have to say that is just absolutely insane with Avengers. I figured everybody saw the movie last week, but I guess a lot of people said, you know what, I need to go see that movie again, because there was just too much that I need to process. So maybe that's what happened. But that's absolutely insane to hear those numbers for Avengers, because I figured everybody saw the movie already, but they obviously wanted to see it again and again and again and again. So,
yeah, but also remember that it's now grossed over $2 billion.
wow.
Over $2 billion. So it's going to be at the number one spot. And you have those crazy people who like, I need to see it in the movie theater 10 times.
So now I have to ask this question. How much longer do you think it's going to be number one? Because we have a couple other movies coming out this month. Of course, we have Aladdin, which I know you told me you cannot wait to see that movie, because Will Smith looked absolutely fantastic in that the trailer.
See, if you complain about Sonic, just look at Aladdin and see if you have something to complain about.
But if you had to make a guess, how long do you think that Avengers is going to be? Is it going to be number one the whole month, or is there anything that actually is going to challenge for that spot?
I don't think there's anything that can challenge, except for maybe The Lion King. But these are movies that don't come out until later in the year.
Yeah.
Aladdin doesn't come out. And I don't even see many people who's like, oh my God, I have to see it. Because remember, it's been really iffy with these live action remakes, Disney's. Like, here's the thing. Jon Favreau knows what he's doing. The Jungle Book was superb. I've seen the opening of The Lion King, and I cried like a newborn. I was like that ugly cry where you shaking, and you're like, this is the most beautiful thing ever. And you can't breathe, and you gasping. You know, like when your mama tells you to go fix your face. Kind of deep cry that I did when I saw The Lion King. But that doesn't come out until like a while.
Yeah, I think that's like July. Well, wait a second. There is one movie that you that you have gone on record as that I know you definitely cannot wait to see, that will 100% be number one at the box office and go above Avengers Endgame when that time comes. Yes, it's this movie called Dark Phoenix.
See, now you purposely want me mad. I have never hated a movie, and the thing is, I saw this thing last year, and I've never hated a movie as much as I hated Dark Phoenix. And here's the weird thing on top of this. Literally, about 3 weeks ago, I binge watched all of Game of Thrones. So I finished it last week so I can watch the big battle scene. I know Sophie Turner was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So remember, she plays Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing about Game of Thrones is they pull out the best from each actor. You are getting acting. You're getting master classes. You're getting, she's like a little tiny, you getting like a little tiny Meryl Streep with acting. This girl has been through so much on this show. Like the acting just pours from her soul. When you see Dark Phoenix, it is literally like she never took an acting class in her life, not even down at the community. You know, when you just go to the community center, darling, YMCA classes, nothing. She is awful. And it's not even her, it's literally the script. You just can't help it. If the movie is just that bad, they turn these amazing. John, what was his name? James McAvoy. We saw him recently in Split.
Yep.
Seen him in Glass. Granted, Glass was trash. Let's be honest, it was awful. Yeah. But his acting was the only reason why I continued to watch Glass. He in Split, he was just, how did he do it? What was it, like 36 characters, 29, 52? I don't know, there could be more. He pulled, and you can feel each character is different than the other character. Physically, the emotions, everything. There's a scene that he did in Split. Remember when Dennis finally pops out?
Yeah.
And we see him physically transform, and he's Dennis, and you could see that shift in personality. Child, he sucks in Dark Phoenix. Again, the local YMCA wouldn't even have him in the acting class. It's just bad. Dark Phoenix is a very elongated X-Men Last Stand that nobody and their mama asked for. I want a Jubilee movie, and you gave me X-Men Last Stand again. I didn't like it the first time I saw it. I sure as heck didn't like it the second time. Then you got the aliens that they threw in it that I'm not going to spoil for anybody in case you want to see it, just so you can sit through horribleness. But that was the worst, child. I forgot what the original topic was. You'd have got me so angry. What was the original topic?
Oh no, the box office. So Avengers is number one, you said. So
Avengers is number one.
Yeah.
And how long is it going to be number one?
Yeah.
Maybe until, like you said, I know Lion King was it July 19th?
Yeah, that's a long time from now.
That's a long time from now, and I don't know any big major movies.
Wait. I do know a movie.
What?
Toy Story.
But here's the thing. Nobody asked for Toy Story 4. It's perfectly fine being wrapped up at 3.
Yeah.
The thing with Endgame was that it's a generational thing. That's like a Star Wars thing. You know what? Those movies that come once in a generation.
Oh yeah.
So you have like Star Wars, which is an epic event, and forget the remakes and the reboots and all the crappy ones, but the original trilogy. You know, that was a once in a generation. Avengers is a once in a generation movie where we sat through all 22. You know, we started out as like teenagers, and now we got mortgages and debt and homelessness. So that's the difference between that and say Toy Story 4. That's a movie nobody asked for at all. So that's kind of the difference. And also, Endgame was the finale. And we know that story of that chapter is over. And we have to relive all the moments again. And it's going to be watched 15,000 times. And also, it was just an epic scale. You're dealing with all of these characters through 22 movies. You know, you put them in, and they're all on screen together. And that battle scene, you're going to miss things. Like Wolverine had been in the corner, I wouldn't have known because there's like 20 other people just fighting and things going on. It's not in the movie, by the way. But that was just a once in a generation. Nobody asked for Toy Story. Nobody and their mama asked for Dark Phoenix. At all. Not even on their deathbed. I don't hear people requesting, before I go, can I see that Dark Phoenix movie? So yeah, that's the big difference between everything. So I just don't see that it's having that kind of effect. Maybe, like I said, Lion King is something, and yeah, Lion King is just maybe just that movie. Maybe. I don't exactly see people running like in Aladdin was just that. Yeah, no. So yeah, I really don't. I mean, man, we have the movies that
Well,
are
hold
coming
on.
up. Here's the
Hold on a
thing.
second.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Hold on a second. Yeah. We definitely going we'll revisit this conversation because I'm looking at the movies for
For 2019.
for 2019, and especially man, there's a ton of movies coming out the end of this month that I could definitely see in the number one spot.
Well, I mean, we have Men in Black International that nobody asked for again, but that's coming out. There's a lot of movies that nobody kind of asked for.
Oh yeah.
I know that Godzilla movie though, the one with all of the monsters.
Oh yeah, I know. Our very good friend Tony Polanco is looking forward to that movie.
Looking forward to that, and that movie looks insane. And I don't even know who half those characters are. And I'm like, oh my god, amazing. He's like a spider. The spider comes up from underground, and he's fighting a lizard. But that make that. I know people will be curious about Aladdin, but it kind of has that same vibes of Beauty and the Beast. And I don't see many people running out to go see Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, so I don't know. We would have to revisit this. And also, remember New Mutants if that ever gets released. But that again, that's not a really great. After a while, it just may end up on Disney Plus. And again, that has Maisie Williams, who is a superb actress because she's in Game of Thrones.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
And also, wait, I do say there is remember It Chapter 2. So it's not that huge blockbuster that is in game. And there is Frozen 2. And children went insane for Frozen. Like you can still hear the echoes of Let It Go. So yeah. And also the Joker movie is coming up in October.
Yeah, it's a lot of great.
There's a lot of
there's a lot to look forward to this year.
You got the Bill and Ted movie. So yeah, we'll revisit this because there is already a ton of movies. But remember, there's also movies that people thought were going to be huge blockbusters that turned out to be complete garbage. Hellboy did not make
it. Yeah.
At all.
That's absolutely true.
Hellboy is so bad, I didn't even know they had the same actor. I'm like, why does his face look so weird? But yeah, we will revisit this. Absolutely. Moving on, we saw a couple movies this week. I know I was at Tribeca and I almost died several times. I've been doing Tribeca since the beginning of April because they had pre-screenings. And then I ended up in the hospital because I had the flu. Yes. And I know you saw several movies as well. So would you like to guide us through the movie that you have seen? What did you see, Mr. Bailey?
Sure. So there are only two movies that I have seen. I know I did see Intruder, and we already did our show on The Intruder.
Yes, we did.
We'll tell. Well, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that it's a good bad movie.
Yeah, so it's a great comedy.
It is. It's a good Netflix movie. Like if you're at home, get your popcorn, watch The Intruder.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I interviewed his son which is hilarious.
Wait, a son? With who?
I interviewed Dennis Quaid's son, and then later interviewed Dennis Quaid. It was weird.
Oh, you have to tell me about that experience.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid's son, his name is Jack Quaid. He is in the most incredible TV show that will ever exist in the face of TV shows. It's called The Boys, which is based comic. They turned it into a series on Amazon, which I can't fully go into because it's embargoed until July. But I can technically talk about the first episode since they did technically screen the first episode. And it is about these groups. It's about superheroes. It's a show about superheroes. It's not about superheroes at all. It's a show about these group of superheroes. Take it literally as the Avengers, except for they're all morally corrupt and bankrupt. So is that gray line. And horrible, like they do terrible things, like killing people. There are scenes where they actually sexually assault a woman.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
But it's superheroes that takes place in our time, and it deals with today's topics, such as the Me Too movement, such as Donald Trump. But it's not heavy at all in a weird way. And it's about superheroes that are now celebrities and about a company, say, for example, Marvel, that's trying to market them. So everything that they do that's superhero-y, it has to be for likes or hashtags or trends, and it's in order to get the stock market up and for them to get a higher revenue. So the joy of just saving the day, is kind of replaced with how many likes you can get. So at the same time, while they want to be superheroes, they kind of lose that and they become jaded because it's all about celebrity and stardom. And there's an accident that happens with one of the superheroes. It also plays on insecurity. There's a superhero, for example, his thing is speed. So imagine the Flash. And his thing is he got to go fast. And if he doesn't go fast, he views himself as being nothing because the world just sees him as this guy who can go really fast. And if he loses all of that, he loses his likes, his followers, his fame. He loses a part of who he is. So he starts juicing in order to get the way that he wants to be. There's another one who's literally like the embodiment of Aquaman. And, he talks to fishes. And he's also teased by the other superheroes because he's just the guy who talks to fishes. And there's like scenes where, go screw, a whale in the blowhole. And it's about this abuse that he goes through. So as a result of him being basically abused and feeling like nothing, he sexually abuses a woman. So you see this weird dynamic that goes on. And then on top of that, there's a group of regular humans who were all negatively impacted by the superheroes. And their goal is to seek them out and to kill them. So there's so many different things that goes on at play, but it all works. And it's the most brilliant show I have ever watched. It's insanely brilliant. And it comes out July 26th on Amazon.
Oh man, that's a while. Well, July 26th. Yeah, that's pretty much almost the end of the summer. Almost the end. Almost.
Remember, you got August. You got that dead of August. That kind of.
Oh yeah.
But it's worth it. It's really worth the wait. I was able to see 3 episodes, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing. I was like emailing Amazon, like, hey man, y'all got any more episodes? I was looking like Pookie at that crack pipe. Like, what I gotta do for them episodes? I need some more. Man. But yeah, so Jack Quaid, who is Dennis Quaid's son, plays one of the humans who's trying to kill a superhero after it's a tragic incident that involves one of his loved ones.
Okay.
He's impacted by the superheroes, but negatively. And it's, again, brilliant. And he looks like his daddy when he smiles. So, there you go. Now, what was the movie you saw?
Oh, yeah, I definitely will make sure I remember to check these out.
Yeah, the Boys is literally one of the shows that I will every day I will campaign until I can recruit people to watch that show.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. So, as for what I have been watching, there are 2 movies that I did get a chance to see. First and foremost, I did get a chance to see Long Shot. I'm not going to reveal any spoilers. However, I will say if you saw the trailer of Long Shot, you might have a great idea of what this movie is about. Now, Seth Rogen will tell you that if you do happen to have a significant other, a spouse, then it is a romantic comedy. You know, if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, then they will see it as romantic comedy. And if you are a single person with no love life whatsoever, then you will see it as a comedy. Um, so yeah, the movie is pretty much about, Seth Rogen. He plays a journalist for he does play a journalist for a newspaper, um, and Charlize Theron plays the Secretary of State for Washington D.C. They actually grew up together, and as circumstances would have it, they end up interacting with each other, and it's revealed very early on in the movie. This is also revealed in the trailer, so this isn't really a spoiler. It's revealed that she actually is going to run for president. So what ends up happening is she needs a speechwriter, and she ends up getting along with Seth Rogen's character. So just for a standard romantic comedy, yes, eventually things do happen with both characters. They get close, and pretty much as you would expect, I guess you could say, there may be a happy ending. I mean, I don't want to really reveal any spoilers for those that want to see it. But what I will say about the movie is, yeah, I know I did think of a lot of the jokes were pretty funny. They were very, they made sure to make a lot of these political jokes that I thought were pretty funny as well. They try to poke fun at some of that stuff. Um, and of course, Seth Rogen with the movies that he does, he always has some particular scenes in these movies where they're just like a little over the top, a little risque, if you will. Well, there is one scene in particular, very, very over the top, very risque in this movie that everyone is like, whoa, whoa, wow. But it's just, it's so outrageous that it's funny. That scene was even included in the movie, and let alone what it actually is. I couldn't stop laughing at that. But I will just say, if you want to go see a movie that is like a funny movie, even though some of the stuff is predictable in terms of some of the outcomes, yeah, then this is not really. I think you could see a far worse movie than this. I just thought it was pretty funny, entertaining, if you will, and much better than I thought it was going to be, just in my personal opinion.
Okay.
Now, did you get a chance to also see this movie?
No.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, okay.
Nope.
All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. No, hey, no problem. No problem. No problem.
Wait for DVD. I do. It does look very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny, but that, yeah, we'll have to talk about that after you see that, because some of the jokes in there were funny. I do like Ice Cube's son is really is I'm liking the movies that he's in, so I definitely am curious to see what other movies he does moving forward. But he was funny in this movie as well, also. So, but yeah, Long Shot, pretty funny movie. Definitely go check it out if you want to see like a comedy, or if you do have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, it's not a bad date movie either. Yeah, I'll say that much. Yeah, so a pretty good movie. And next up, I have to say, without a doubt, now, as I said, Long Shot was a funny movie. Um, this movie, to me, right now, in my personal opinion, obviously a lot of people some may disagree, so on and so forth. I think that this is going to be one of those movies that people are going to see this year, and they're going to remember for a lot of different reasons, because it was a funny movie. Like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was funny about it, but I also sort of relate to the particular story that they were telling in the movie, and that's this movie called Booksmart. Now, it's directed by Olivia Wilde, and of course, it's Will Ferrell had some inspiration for the film as well, because he does executive produce with Adam McKay. So essentially, yeah, the movie is very simple. Booksmart. It's about these two best friends, two female best friends. They actually they have always, throughout their whole high school, throughout all of high school, they have only been focused on their studies, and of course, because they are smart, they also help out other kids in the school. But what ends up happening is, this is the day before graduation. They hear about a big party that's happening, and they decide, well, we always have been the ones to just go out and just focus so much on school, not at all on partying. So they decide, well, this is their last night before graduation. Let's go to this party. Let's go all out, and let's just prove to everybody else that we do more than just our schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, I mean, when I say it's a comedy, like it's a raunchy comedy, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that is just ridiculously over the top that the people are just going to love. What I enjoy about the movie is that the cast in the movie is just fantastic. Like, I look at the actors and actresses that were in this movie, and I could say without a doubt they're going to be these. This is like a preview of people that you will see in movies within the next 10 to 15 years. You're going to see them in a lot of movies because they just got, as far as what I'm concerned, a lot of the up and coming talent in the movie. So you do have, of course, you do have. Let me pull up her name real quick.
Okay.
So a couple people that are in the movie. We do have Jason Sudeikis.
Sudeikis.
Sudeikis, that's his name. Yeah, see, that's the name there. That's crazy. Yeah, of course he's been in a lot of movies that I love, but of course he's in this movie. He does play the principal in this movie, and he's a pretty funny character. We have the two main characters. One played by Caitlin Dever, and the other played by Beanie Feldman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like I said, I hope I get these names correct. I don't want them trying to come back and sue me. But yeah, they're playing they play the best friends. If you've seen the trailer, I'm not really going to reveal too much. One of them is into girls and is interested in getting with a girl that she has always been interested in, but she decides, okay, maybe I will try to do this. So it's kind of like the characters do have other things that they're trying to do. This particular last night of what is seen as their last night of high school, because they do graduate the next day. So all types of wild, crazy stuff happens throughout the movie, and there are a couple of plot twists in there of other stuff that happens that I'm not going to mention. But what I want to say is, yeah, it's a very fun movie, very funny movie, and I really, really, really enjoy the young cast of characters, because I know that I'm going to see these actors and actresses again. Actually, one of the actresses in this movie is actually in the Mom movie that's coming out later this month. She actually plays the main character that we've seen in the Mom trailer. So yeah, it was great to see her in another movie, to see that she does have some type of range as an actress already. So but yeah, movie is a lot of fun. It was at South by Southwest back in March, so there are some people that have already seen it. But if you do want to see something that's a little bit different, again, the trailer is out there. You can see the trailer. I guarantee, once you see the trailer, you'll know whether or not you want to see this movie. But yeah, the movie officially comes out on May 24th. And I definitely would say, again, this is one of those movies where I would say it was something that I wasn't really on my radar. I saw a trailer. I said, this looks interesting, and then I saw they had a screening for it. I said, let me go check out the movie, and I was pleasantly surprised with how funny it was, just how coming of age story, feel good type of film. But it does have some raunchy stuff in there, so just be prepared for that if you do decide to go see it.
Okay. That sounds exciting, no?
Oh
And it's
yeah,
good. When you watch the trailer, it does look good.
oh yeah, it's pretty funny. If you get a chance to see it, yeah, I would look forward to hearing what you got to say about it.
Yeah. I will get a chance I'll watch it. I don't
Yes.
know, but I'll get a chance to see it. And it looks like it doesn't suck. Like, at first it was like, but now, hearing what you have to say and seeing some of the trailer, it doesn't look like it sucks. So that's a good thing.
And there are some other stuff that they don't show in that trailer that's pretty funny. So I'm glad they didn't put every single joke. They put a lot of jokes in the trailer. I mean, I'm gonna admit that now, but there's some stuff that they did not put in there for a good reason. That's okay. I'm glad they didn't do that. So that's good.
That's good too. And it looks like they have really great chemistry with each other. Like they both look corny, and it look like they're trying their hardest not to be corny.
Yes.
So it
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
yeah. They definitely will throw you off with that because yeah, how the movie starts essentially is what you see in that trailer, but then there's a little bit more to the characters, a little bit more depth to the characters. And then again, one thing I will say is again, uh, when I went to high school, I was the type to really let me just focus on my work. I didn't try to party and do all this other stuff. So I feel anyone that actually had that same type of lifestyle, they definitely will be drawn to this film specifically for that reason because it's going to be like, oh, and then there's a couple of lessons in that, but it's a pretty funny movie. Um, I do want to give you a disclaimer though.
okay.
Uh, I am aware how expensive it is for a movie ticket in New York, so I will tell you, don't spend $25 to go see this movie. Definitely go see it, but if you can see it at matinee, that would probably be pretty good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some type of discount is always a good thing, but I would not spend 30, 40, 50. No, oh hell no, no 25 up, but anything below that, it's totally reasonable.
That's
Yeah.
a nice disclaimer, though.
Yeah. I have to say that to protect myself. I don't want people coming after me and say, "Yeah, you told me to go see this movie. I spent my last $20." I said, "Well, hold on. I will tell that person, listen. I would hope you got other things that you got to do with that money too. If you got to pay bills, you better pay that bill. Don't go see a movie now. Come on now." But yeah, I'm just saying. I got to say that as a disclaimer.
That sounds great. So, is that everything else you saw?
Oh no, those are the only two movies. I might go see Detective Pikachu. I might.
Might. You might.
We'll see. I did see the trailer for Token as well, and I thought, well, that looks
I'm like token.
Yeah. There you go. I did see that trailer. I thought, well, that looks interesting. And then I thought to myself, oh, May 10th, that's coming out real soon. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, I didn't hear great things about that movie though. The ability to be incredible, and I just heard so many bad things. It's like it's the author of Lord of the Rings. How could you suck at this? Man has dragons and elves and tiny people, But yeah, I heard not great things. But I will await your your review.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, and one final thing, one final thing, and then I'll go, and then we can move on to your picks. Billy Lord is in the movie. That's of course Carrie Fisher's daughter. Yeah, she was funny in this movie too. She was really funny in this movie. So.
Oh, that's good. Well, I remember her watching her in the very short-lived Scream Queens, and that was a comedy. She's pretty. Yeah, they need to. That was sad. They let that go. I like Scream Queens. It's all right though. It's all right. I'll get over it. It's been a couple years. But yeah. In regards to me, it was a very full month. I had a film festival. But we're gonna go with movies people actually will see or easily know about. The main one is Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Mr. Pika Pika, which is voiced by Ryan Reynolds, which is like, oh, okay. He basically sounds like Deadpool, but okay, let's have him in Pikachu. That'll work. It's very simple. It takes place in Rhyme City, which is basically like a New York City. It's a metropolis, I cannot talk. It's basically like a metropolis, right? So basically take New York City. The thing is that Pokemon, which is all of the little Pokemon, which I used to call Poke people, but Pokemon they exist and they've kind of like just belong to society, and everyone has their own Pokemon. So you may have like, I don't know, a Psyduck or I don't know, the Mewtwo's and things. I'm not familiar with the Pikachu characters. I apologize. But basically, there is a guy who's named Tim Goodman, who is played by Justice Smith, who is the black kid from Jurassic World, the up one, the newest one. I think is World. Yeah. Anywho, he plays this character. They said Tim Goodman, who he's basically around 21 years old. He works, you know, and he's not really like attached to a Pokemon. In fact, he doesn't want a Pokemon at all. He wants nothing to do with Pokemon, and it's later explained in the movie. His mom died many years ago when he was a kid of cancer. Very sad. His dad just died, and he was a detective, and one of his partners was a Pikachu, which was, it also belonged to him. It wasn't just like he's his partner, it kind of belonged to him as well. And what seems like a very simple accident, I'm here to collect my father's things, what's going on, he ends up running into the Pikachu, who is voiced by Ryan Reynolds. And he happens to be the only person who can hear Pikachu talk. And in fact, he's the only one who could just hear Pokemon. Because Pokemon, they're not understood by the humans. They just do, Psyduck and, Pika Pika. That's all. Whatever their trademark is. And so he very reluctantly, by the way, tags up with Pikachu in order to find out what exactly happened to his dad. Like, if it's an accident, what happened to cause that accident? And he ends up meeting with this reporter who's Lucy Stevens and her Psyducks, which is like her little tag team partner there. And Lucy is just like one of those, your wannabe CNN reporters, those wannabe type of detectives. And they go on this adventure about finding out what happened to his dad. And they discover something way more that's also affecting the Pokemon. And it plays off as a noir. Like, it's one of those weird things that just actually works. And it feels like this mystery, and it takes you into like this world, and even the underground world of Pokemon, where they're fighting each other. So you get Pokemon are fighting, and you have the mime who seems to know everything, and because he never talks, no one really kind of sees him as like a threat, so he just kind of knows everyone's secrets. And the more he learns about what's going on and what's happening, the more kind of corrupt everything is. And it's very weird because it actually works. This is a movie that's like, when you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is going to be for kids. I'm not going to like this. It really does work. Now, the third act gets a little bit ridiculous, and it gets a little bit silly where it's like juvenile territory. But overall, this is something where it's like, you know what? This is kind of cool. I don't know much about Pokemon, but for those who don't watch Pokemon, it does a very good job at introducing you to what's going on and which Pokemon is which and what are their powers. And everyone knows about Pikachu, but there are a lot of other Pokemon that are in the movie that little old ignorant me doesn't really know about. And so they do a really great job of kind of like explaining the world to you, but it also doesn't take you out of the movie. So that was the good thing about that. And that's what I kind of really appreciated about that whole movie. So I recommend it. I shockingly recommend it. And after a while, Ryan Reynolds' voice just grows on you. So who knows? He could be the voice of Sonic next.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know. Like, it's just one of those weird voices where it just kind of blends in after a while. Just give every voiceover job to him.
Oh yeah.
And it was also really fun, and it was kind of like it was like a little adventure. So yeah, it worked, and everyone in the theater that I was with, they were pleasantly happy. And the kids, I also find out whether or not a movie is good on how engaged the kids are. And the kids were very much engaged, and they was ooh ah oh no, and then there were Pokemon fans who were like yeah when they saw their own their favorite Pokemon stuff. but it does a really good job. And there's a lot of kind of like dirty people who you think you can trust, but you can't trust after a while. So it works. I'm very happy with what they did. Because when looking at the trailer, you're like, oh, this is gonna suck. But I like Pokemon. I like that little Pikachu character. But it really did work. So yeah, go see Pokemon.
Sounds good.
You should see it. I know you'll have some fun with it. So another movie that I watched, it's more of a documentary. It's upcoming. It's gonna come up on Showtime very soon. It's called Of Mics and Men, Wu-Tang Clan. So the Wu-Tang Clan, it's a 6-part docu-series. And it's basically about Wu-Tang and how they became the Wu and the Tang and how they all became together. And, how they got their lyrics and their own sound and their kind of like poetic flow. I am someone who, I have really bad music taste. And I know of Wu-Tang, and I maybe know of like one song, but I don't know the name of the song. Like the chorus of something. And so that's what it is for me. I mean, like, know a chorus. So me sitting there watching this documentary, it was really informative on explaining who the group was, or their own individual style, how they came to be, and their lyrics, sorry, it's not the average, you ho, bend over and touch your floor, go and touch your toes and reach for some more. It's something their lyrics are really strong and really positive, and it's not, it's not like that misogynistic. And so they sound very poetic when they're rapping. And it's about their dynamic. And it's also about their fallout. They had a huge falling out, and about them essentially coming back together again. Hey, they're much older now. So I will say that it was absolutely excellent. If you are a fan of Wu-Tang, if you just grew up listening to Dave Matthews Band and don't know what a Wu or a Tang is, still watch this documentary. It is very informative, but it also entertains. It's very entertaining, and it's very funny, and it's very sad, and there's a lot of different things that goes on. And remember, there's like 9 people in the group, but it still manages to have that very cohesive story, and you're able to, it isn't, everyone gets a light shine on them. Everyone has their own spotlight, so no one really feels left out at all. So that is,
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah. And also, it's very unfortunate that ODB died. Yeah. Because I would have loved to see him in his documentary. But here's the weird thing. I was able to meet them in person and interview them, except for Method Man, because he had an emergency with his kid who was at college. And he was in there. But I was meeting the son of ODB. And here's the thing. I know who ODB is because of Mariah Carey. So I was like, you ever know like somebody's dead in the back of your mind, but you kind of forget when you see their son who looks like their identical twin?
Oh, yeah.
So I met his son and was like, oh my God, you're alive. And, he was dead. But his son looks literally just like him, sounds like him, and is an absolute gentleman. Just overall a good person. I don't know him personally, but from when I met him, overall, a really great character, good person. And I was able to talk to RZA and talk to the other members and just learn more about them and learn more about, their history is so rich. And it's just one of those groups that's just really amazing. And, it kind of also talked about, how Method Man ended up going into the acting and RZA ended up doing into the movies, and how the martial arts aspect really played into Wu-Tang and how they was able to carry that into their next careers. So it was really amazing. And they also performed. This was all at Tribeca. They also performed, and they sound just like they did back then. And it was just really, really good. So it's very entertaining, great energy. and you learn something, which is basically all you want from a documentary. You want to be entertained and you want to learn something. Because nobody likes just to be ignorant,
Yeah.
So that was very, it was very exciting. It was a pleasant surprise because I'm not one of, they call the old rap heads. I'm not a rap person at all. I'm sorry. But it worked out and it was really good. So I have no complaints about that. And lastly, from what I can talk about, I will talk about it a little bit later, but we can just go on and just, kind of say that I was able to see something called John Wick. We'll talk about that much later.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So also there was a TV show that I was able to see. It comes out tomorrow, actually. It's called Chernobyl. It's going to be airing on HBO. It's about Chernobyl, which was the big human-made accident at the nuclear power plant in Russia back in the 70s. And it was literally the most horrifying show I've ever watched. But it was also one of those shows where you kind of like, what's going on? I need to continue watching this. And it's very similar to watching a horror thriller where you know who the killer is, you know who's going to die, and you know how they're going to die, but you still have to watch more just to figure out how it all comes together. So those who don't know, Chernobyl was a man-made accident at a nuclear power plant that basically it exploded and released massive amount of radiation into the air. And the Soviet Union back then, tried to cover it up, and how it spread on to other countries, and this deceit and the lies and the pure ignorance by the government and what they did behind it, and how it ended up costing thousands of people their lives. And even the people who were like it's just a cover up from the very beginning, because the first episode is about the explosion, and as the power plant is melting down, as everyone's faces are like literally peeling off and dying, you have the big time supervisors who's literally in the room watching and saying, nope, this is not happening. This is a mistake. Nope. You guys are overreacting. And like people's faces are like falling off when they're vomiting blood and they're just like exploding. And you just want to like scream at the person. You're like, how much of an idiot are you? Are you in that much shock that you can't see this? And so it's just like a trickle down effect of just ignorance and denial that happened. And it wasn't until nearby countries started getting the effects of the radiation in the air from their own country, did Soviet Union trying to finally realize, yeah, we had a nuclear explosion, and then everyone dies of cancer. It's literally, you're just watching a TV show where everyone dies of cancer. But it is absolutely thrilling. And I don't know how I feel about that. But they did a very good job of you wanting to know how this ends. So that comes on HBO tomorrow. And that's literally everything that I saw that people would probably care about.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's definitely a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Definitely will have to check out some of these things.
Yes. So, any last words, any wrap ups that you have?
Oh no, so I just want to definitely thank everybody for listening to the show, and definitely going to check out some more movies, and we'll have some more to say in the future for sure.
Awesome. Yep, we will be back soon, and we will talk about more stuff that's going on. It's very fun to be on this episode, and we look forward to another episode.
Oh so, yeah, there's a lot of movies coming out this month, so yeah, we definitely will have a lot to talk about for sure.
Summer is around the corner, so you get those big old summer blockbusters nobody asked for.
Absolutely.
So, any other words?
Oh no, that's it. Thank everybody for their continued support, and look forward to the next show.
awesome sauce. I look forward to the next show as well. Thank you all for joining us. It has been fun and exciting. And don't watch Dark Phoenix. Just don't do it. Watch Sonic the Hedgehog instead. It is, I am your host, Dana, once again joined by Richard Bailey Jr. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day, night, weekend, month, year.
Yes. Talk to you guys later.